It's the I Can't Mom Today podcast with Heather, the new mom, and Vera, the seasoned mom. I Can't Mom Today.
Hey, this is Vera and Heather back again with another episode of I Can't Mom Today podcast. Hi, Vera.
Hey, Heather. How's it going?
It's going good. Sorry if there's some banging and clanging. Our neighbors are doing construction next door, so yay.
We won't think that like Baker's breaking down the house or anything like that.
No, he's safely and secure at daycare.
Oh, good. Good. And Brad, where's Rad Brad?
Alaska.
Oh, wow. For work, I assume?
Yes. No, he's just going up there to fish and be chased by moose. He said that he's at a military base up there, and he said he's seen like 4 moose. Like he has a video of a little baby moose, and it was so cute.
Oh, I love moose.
I know. But they're really dangerous though. So
they are. Yeah. You're not supposed to get too close to them. Kind of like buffalo too. They're very dangerous if you get too close to them, from what I understand.
Have a tree between you and the moose is what I've learned from the warning signs from the base. Yeah.
Oh, so shoot, there was one other question I wanted to ask you.
Well, what do you think about that? How was your whirlwind vacation? Because you went to Cape Cod.
Yeah, also it was fabulous. There were I ate lots of lobster and steamer clams, and it was absolutely wonderful. And the weather was beautiful because, you know, here in Florida, it's like 95 degrees, and there it was 75. So that was really nice. And we stayed with some friends because we were on a bit of a budget, although it allowed us to eat more lobster and steamers. But we didn't have to pay for a hotel, which was wonderful. Thank you, Rick and Michelle. So that was cool. And we used old, flight that we were going to take last year, which we couldn't take for obvious reasons. So that was already paid for too. So it was, aside from the lobster and the steamers, it was an inexpensive vacation.
Nice. And thanks for keeping it real. Because I was actually thinking, I was like, man, one day I'm going to be able to afford a vacation like this where I can eat because seafood is expensive. I was like, I can eat as much seafood as I want. But so thank you for keeping that real and being like, no.
Oh, yeah.
We kept it on the cheap.
Basically, the hotel budget basically went to lobster and steamers.
Yeah. No worries. I understand. I empathize.
It was good. So, but I wanted to, we're here today partly because we've got a couple of really amazing guests. Kara and Laura. They are the hosts of a new podcast called Should They Watch It? Hey, Kara and Laura.
Hi. Thank you guys so much for having us today.
Hello. Yes.
Hey.
I second that.
Well, I was really excited when I saw, and I want you to tell us about the podcast and everything. When I saw you guys were starting this up, I was like, this is perfect. It can totally go in I Can't Mom Today. It'll help our moms and, help me and Heather too. So tell us about the podcast, what it's all about, why you decided to start it. Just tell us about yourselves and your podcast.
We will. So Laura and I have been friends for a number of years, and we met when our kids were in the same daycare. And we have kids the same age. And so Laura came to me a couple of years ago because she loves watching TV. Quite frankly, she's a movie.
Me too.
She knows all the things about everything involving TV. She loves trivia. So she had come to me a couple of years ago and was like, hey, we should do a podcast someday where we review children's shows. And I was like, that's a genius idea. And then life took over and we didn't do anything about it. And so about 6 months ago, she came back to me and she's like, okay, we're in a pandemic. We definitely need to do a podcast and where we review children's shows. And at that point, I'm like, all right, let's figure it out. I don't know anything about podcasting, but we'll see what happens. And so that's basically what we do is we get together, we watch the shows that our children watch, because nowadays they're inundated. When they've got Netflix, they've got Hulu, they've got all these different places that they can go to get all of these shows. And as parents, we don't have the time to sit down and say, is this appropriate? Should they be watching this? Is this good for them? So Laura and I set out on a mission to do exactly that and watch these shows and let parents know, should they watch it?
Nice. Growing up, not in the current time, Baker is always like, commercial, there's a commercial. Yes. And we're like, sometimes you just have to suffer through them, friend.
And back in my day, I do that with my kid all the time. I'm like, we used to have commercials every few minutes. And he's like, that's crazy. How terrible for you.
They really have no idea how good they have it, do they?
No, he'll go, commercial.
Oh man, no, I remember when I was little pulling out the TV guide. I'm pretty sure that was what motivated me to start reading anyways, was so that I could figure out what my shows were on.
Yeah,
and
a
I just
TV
remember
guide.
pulling that TV guide out and planning my day around what the shows were on. And now they can just
instant
look at a menu.
gratification.
Yeah, they can just look at a menu and select and go from there.
Yeah.
They're pretty.
Oh, it's very different. Yes, I remember that too. See, I think we have definitely this in common, Laura. Like I would pull out the TV guide the same way and just be like, okay, what am I watching? Make sure I don't miss anything. Because this was also before DVRs, you know.
You had a VCR.
Yeah, we had a VCR. Actually, I'm aging myself. This is even before VCRs.
Oh,
Was there life before VCRs?
It was dull and meaningless, but yes, there was life. But yeah,
we just
I'm sorry.
went around saying, "What's the meaning of life?"
Yes. And how do I change the channel with that little knob thingy?
What is this knob?
You were the one standing behind the TV holding the rabbit ears.
Oh yes.
The exact spot so that you can
Mhm.
get the correct programming.
I was the
Absolutely.
one where cable didn't have the Disney Channel unless you paid for it.
Mhm.
So I was the one watching the squiggly line version of it because they would do audio. You just couldn't see it. So I remember just being like, all right, I'm just going to, in my mind, imagine what the Mickey Mouse Club is doing right now based on what they're telling me.
That's good imagination, though.
It was determination, imagination, and a love for being indoors. It was all kinds of stuff.
I just saw a meme or something the other day where it was like, children of the 80s. And it's, yeah, you can go raising kids now. Yeah, you can go ahead and watch that. And then it's like, oh, I forgot about this part. Stop, pause.
Oh, we go through that all the time. And like when we're watching something and it's like, whoa, I didn't remember that. Hold on, everybody. Pause.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
They're like smoking cigarettes on ET, those kids. It was like
Yes.
15-year-old
Mhm.
kids are playing poker maybe and smoking
Mhm.
cigarettes. That shocked me.
I didn't remember that from my childhood.
No.
Well, I
Isn't
think
that
it's because
funny?
you're so in it now where there's no smoking. Like we were just watching, it's not a children's show, but it's like Man in the High Tower. And my husband's like, this is basically just a cigarette commercial because they're constantly, it's set in the 60s. They're just constantly smoking. Everybody's lighting up everywhere. And we're like, what?
And it's shocking when you see it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It
And
is.
That was one of the reasons that, when I came on board and Laura and I started doing this podcast, I love this idea because Laura is a child play therapist, and I'm a voice actor. So I was like, this will give really unique perspectives because she can come at it from is this actually good for your child? And here's the psychology behind it. And I've been in the entertainment industry for a long time. So, it's just two really interesting perspectives. What I wasn't prepared for was the first time that we watched a show that my kids had already seen. And when I jumped in, I was like, I already know this is a yes because I've walked through the room while I was doing laundry and I know this is a great show. And when I sat down and actually watched it, I was like, this is horrifying. I had no idea that they were seeing these things. It's way too adult for them. Way too
Well,
big.
what show was it?
It's a show actually called Absurd Planet.
Yep.
And it's an episode that we just released. And the show is great. There's a lot of really fun things about it, but there's basically they go in, it's very National Geographic, the way that they do it. And they go in and they show examples of absurd animals that you find all over our planet. The animals that typically don't make it on the really cool National Geographic shows, they're on this one. That part's really fun. The whole premise is this, weird is wonderful sort of thing. But then they make all these jokes because they're trying to make it entertaining. And a lot of these jokes are not 5-year-old appropriate.
No. And it also will highlight some of their odd behavior. And some of that behavior is quite graphic and they'll just show it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it is, I think we agreed ultimately that the show would be more appropriate and even entertaining for a tween teen audience.
Yes.
Or older adults. But yeah, Kara, it was a little too late for you with your 5-year-old.
when my 5-year-old's like, so what does it mean to marry your cousin? And what is
no
they keep talking about?
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm like, oh, come on.
Oh, yeah.
So what do you do when you realize your kid's been watching a show that they shouldn't be watching? How do you keep it away from them without them absolutely throwing a fit, or you just let them throw a fit?
Fortunately, that one they had burned themselves out on. I guess I should say, unfortunately, on that one, they burned themselves out. so that one, my kids are really good about this. If I come in and say you're not allowed to watch that, fortunately, there's so many options. My son, I have a son and a stepdaughter that are 6 months apart. They're 5 and 6 years old. And so my son is a little more devious. He's the one that's like, haha, she's not watching. I'm going to turn it on anyway. And my daughter's the one that's like, okay, Mom, I'll be very obedient and not watch that terrible show.
Wow, lucky.
Yeah. And I have no problem admitting when something is my fault to my kids. So for me, my approach is just saying, I really wasn't paying attention to this show when you first started watching it, and that's my fault. And now I'm realizing that this show really isn't good for kids.
Yeah.
And so now we're just going to have to find something else to watch. And sometimes my daughter is also 5. She might have a couple of more questions about why, which is just offers an opportunity for more explanation and conversation. But I think that 5 is a age where they're more receptive to, what you have to say. Now I'm thinking about your 3-year-old.
I know. I was like,
it might be a little bit more difficult.
Well, and it doesn't help that Brad allows him to watch basically anything. He's like, yeah, this is Star Wars is appropriate. I'm like,
no.
Yeah. I just am like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
I mean, he watches a lot of Paw Patrol and Wild Kratts, and one thing that one show that I don't know about is Apple and Onion. He watches that all the time.
New one for me.
Yeah.
I needed. Okay, we're gonna add it to our list.
Put it on your list. Apple and Onion.
I don't even know.
Yeah, see, that's the thing is there were so many shows that we had no idea, and I will help you feel better about one thing is. When we did Absurd Planet and we talked about all the things that our kids had been exposed to that I didn't realize I was exposing my kids to until the end. And Laura posed a really good point and she goes, but at the end, like, is your kid okay? And I was like, honestly, yeah, like they had a couple of questions about some of the topics, but then we moved on with our lives and they're no worse for the wear. So,
so far as we know,
this Star Wars is not going to ruin your kid.
That's probably why you continue to let them watch it too, is because they were walking away from Absurd Planet, not
like they were fine
exhibiting any
like no weird behavior
damage.
Right. Yeah.
And there's been shows I've let my 5-year-old or 5 and 6-year-olds watch. We watched The Mandalorian. We've watched and those are definitely some more grown up type shows. But I think if there's a parent there that's able to explain things, if they have questions, and you can kind of help guide them, like, those are real topics, like life and death happens and
teaching moments. That's when my son got to be like, probably, around tweens, teens. There were some shows that I think some parents might have been like, that's too much. Whereas I would say, well, if I'm watching it with him, and somebody's doing drugs or drinking or doing something that they shouldn't, that's inappropriate, I'll point it out and explain, well, look, see what happened to so-and-so after what they were doing. And I'll use it as a teaching moment for sure.
Yeah. And speaking of teaching moments in TV shows, Laura and I came across a show. You've probably heard of it, but especially for your 3-year-old, hands down, my favorite show that we have reviewed so far is a show called Bluey. And if you want to talk about a show with full of teaching moments, it's literally full of teaching moments for both kids and parents.
What's it called again?
Wait, hold on. Let me get a pen. Hold on. Let me find a pen.
Heather needs a pen.
Yeah, this was the one that when we got together, I think we were the most on the same page about.
Absolutely. And it was my favorite one that we reviewed because it gave Laura the chance to deep dive into, child therapy and thoughts and psychology and how things actually work within our brains and how you can use a show with your children to create bonding moments.
Mm.
And yeah, Bluey hands down was our favorite one.
How do you spell it?
Bluey. It's a show out.
Oh, Bluey.
Yeah.
On which one?
It's comes from Australia. You can find it literally everywhere now.
I think
YouTube, Netflix,
Disney
Hulu,
Plus.
Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's about a family of. It's about a family of. Is it Catahoula dogs?
No, they're the Blue Healers.
Blue
Healers.
Yeah. It's about a family of Blue Healers cartoon, and it just shows them basically just being a family and having fun together.
Yeah. But they have this child-led play, and the parents get
Mm-hmm.
really involved. Mm-hmm. You are going to have some parent guilt because we are never going to live up to these.
So it's bad for our self-esteem.
Yeah, no question. we address that in our review of the show. As we actually talk about if you're having major parent guilt, here's some things to do. Here's some things you can do for yourself because it is a little hard, but it does give great examples of how just a few minutes diving into your kid's world really makes a huge difference and creates such a special bond between you and your kid. And there's such great moments. It's also, honestly, as an adult, I found it just fun to watch. Like there were some episodes that literally had me laughing out loud.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those shows. Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, I was just going to ask, so what age range you think that show would be best for?
It's a little younger. I would say probably, realistically, probably 8 or 9 and under. But it is really fun. Like I would have a hard time imagining your 18-year-old being like, I'm going to sit down and watch some Bluey today.
Yeah, he'd probably be more up for Absurd Planet.
Absurd Planet.
Yeah, he'd be all about that.
Speak about the ranch.
Yeah, I mean, we've dived into some shows like SpongeBob SquarePants and Camp Coral, and those are a little bit on the older side too. But yeah, I feel like
SpongeBob was my son's one of his first words.
Yeah,
are you serious?
Yes.
Oh gosh, you poor thing. Okay,
I like SpongeBob too.
You like it?
Yeah, so we watch it together. Even when he was like really little, I was like one, I'd have it on. I was like, oh, it's harmless. I mean, I don't know. I don't think SpongeBob's that bad, but maybe for some parents it's a little advanced because of some of the stuff that that they do. But yeah, SpongeBob I think was like his 4th or 5th word. He'd said, "Bob, Bob."
That's so
great.
sweet. So I don't think that Kara and I were so much discussing his appropriateness. I think we were just overall kind of annoyed. Right?
Yeah.
I had a hard time diving into that one.
Yeah. So did you what did you think of the voices on the show?
See, I like the voices. I thought they were funny. Like especially Patrick's stupid inflatable pants.
That was a good one.
Thanks.
It sounded just like almost just like
And then Squidward, yeah. So yeah, we watched it a lot. I might still watch it sometimes. Don't tell anyone.
No worries.
Well, Camp Coral just came out, girl.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
The
Paramount
first ever spinoff is Camp Coral, and that is now out and about. And they have the original cast from SpongeBob. They bring the entire cast back.
Friday night is set. A glass of wine and Camp Coral.
Oh, I love it. Well, and Vera, I think going back to kind of something you were saying earlier, and then even it kind of inspires me what you're saying now to the thought about, what is good for one family may not be good for another. And I think that's really coming up a lot for us as we review these shows, and even answering the question of should they watch it has become more complicated, because it's kind of this thing where, like you said, you didn't mind sitting down with your child and having these discussions about what may or may, about the content that he was watching. And then some of your friends were more just like, no, we're not going to expose them to that at all. And so I think that that's something that we've been discussing a lot more as we review these shows, is just, this might work for you. If your family is a certain type of way, but if your family is this way, maybe it won't be the show that you would want to turn on.
Yeah. It's you have to determine your own appropriateness. You have to determine we can help say, this is what we found, this is what we saw. It may not be appropriate for my family, but that may be something that you're okay with.
Yeah, we're going to give you this information and do what you will with it.
Yeah. So when we first started the podcast, we thought this was going to be so much more, hard yes, hard no. And a lot of times we find ourselves going, no-ish. Yeah. I know.
Maybe.
Well,
yep. Yep. That's definitely what we've done in a lot of cases.
Yeah. So it's like, we'll do the deep dive. We'll do the research. We'll find out all that we possibly can about the show so that you are fully informed going in. And then,
because everyone's values are different and everyone's approach to media is different. And so it's hard for us to sit here and tell a family, no, don't watch this. Yes, watch that.
Yeah.
I like the approach that you said, the information, because like Absurd Planet, granted, I'd kind of agree that maybe not for a 5-year-old, but just the information, like what is it that they do and why is it not appropriate for a 5-year-old? And so in my mind, as you were discussing it, I thought, maybe a 13-year-old, 14-year-old.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's funny. We've actually been this week since the show review had come out, we've actually gotten some messages from parents who are like, okay, I'm not going to have my kid watch it, but that sounds hilarious. I'm going to watch it tonight when my kids go to bed.
Yes, it's true. It's really, the show is fun. And again, we talk about the different parental values. Like for me, and it's episode 3 specifically from Absurd Planet is one that dives deep into mating. And I wasn't quite prepared to answer those questions. And there was a lot of jokes that were made. I mean, everything from prostitution to cheating to different. I was like, oh God, I'm not ready for that with a 5 and a 6-year-old. And so we had to have some really delicate conversations. If I had known to skip episode 3 for me, the rest of the episodes were fine. Now they do make some adult jokes. For sure throughout all of the episodes. But for me, the benefit of Earth, my kids are learning about Earth. They're learning about unusual animals. They're learning that weird is cool, that it's okay to be different. Like for me, the positive message of the show outweighed the jokes minus episode 3. If I would have known to somehow skip that one, I would have been way more okay. But now that I've seen it, I'm like, nope, we're done. You've seen it. We're moving on.
No, Moss.
It's so funny because so many of the adult listeners that messaged us dove right into episode 3 after they heard Vera say that.
Episode 3. I'm telling you, the first of, if you do go watch this and you go straight to episode 3, I'm telling you, those first like 10 minutes, imagine sitting next to your 5-year-old watching that. My jaw was on the ground and I'm like, so what do you think mating is? What do you think the animals were doing? I don't know how to mom in this situation.
We've all been there.
It's like watching your first like PG-13 movie with your parents.
That's what I was just thinking about. I was like, this is reminding me of when I saw There's Something About Mary in the theater with my mother.
Yeah. or when my sister's boyfriend, my sister's 7 years older, and her boyfriend came over to the house for the first time and wanted to show our family his absolute favorite movie in the world, and I would have been 11 years old.
Oh boy!
And it was Clockwork Orange.
No,
yeah,
wow.
True story. Like, okay, so here's another.
They broke up. Hopefully,
they broke up. I survived as a human, so we're not going to ruin our children that bad. We've already put them up. Okay. We're fine.
Yeah.
That one movie or TV show, we're fine.
Holy crap. Yeah.
Dear Lord. Well, have you guys reviewed any shows like maybe going up into a higher age range, or what other shows have you reviewed, or what else can you recommend or not, recommend-ish?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we're only, this is a brand new podcast, so we're definitely still diving in deep. And a parent had actually just emailed us and was like, can you start reviewing shows for older kids? So we definitely are going to start diving in on that to do as well. So far, we've mostly, because we have 5 and 6, little kids. So
yeah,
we've mostly stayed young. We've done shows like Puff and Rock. We've done shows like Masha and the Bear. These are for much younger children. We have a review coming up. We haven't actually even recorded yet. That is for Ridley Jones, which is a brand new show that just came out from the maker of Doc McStuffins.
Oh.
And so we have a lot. So we've been outside of Absurd Planet, which we didn't realize was going to be for older kids until we were like, okay, we've done SpongeBob SquarePants, but I do. And we also did a really, really cute show called Izzy's Koala World.
Yeah. That one is for a little bit older of an audience. I would say probably like 9, 10, 11.
Yeah.
Yeah. The more we're recording and the more people are listening, we're starting to realize we need to look a little bit outside of ourselves and cater to a demographic that's not just centered around our children. And our listeners have been really great to give us advice about what we should be looking at and reviewing. What's been really interesting for me, though, is the idea that a lot of television shows for kids are centered around, for at least what I've noticed, a very young demographic. Yes. And as they get older, it is a little bit harder to find something. I mean, you think about there's Nick Jr., now there's Netflix Jr., and there's Disney Plus. Well, Disney, and then Disney Jr. or whatever. And then there's like a baby, even a channel for babies. But like, I think ABC Family might be for an older crowd, but it's harder, I think, as they get older to find as much content as there are for the younger crowd. So we're doing a lot more digging, but one that I absolutely love that I think is definitely for more of a tween audience, maybe a little bit younger, is the show Nailed It. Have you guys seen that?
No.
Okay.
Oh, yes. I have.
You have?
I was like nailing. I was thinking like, construction, because construction's going on next door. I was like, no, yes, I love that story.
Your head is in the construction zone. I love it. So that one is just a baking competition show where contestants are asked to bake a cake that's centered on a specific theme. So it might be, a Christmas cake or something like that, but they'll have to bake like a really elaborate one, like it's shaped like a stocking, and they only have like an hour to do it. And so it never goes well.
Yeah.
So it always ends up looking like a hot mess, and it's hilarious. And the judges are really fun, and the approach is very lighthearted. And I would say an older audience and family
can watch it together.
Yeah, we watch.
I think Vera would like that a lot, actually.
Yeah, I would like that. I watch Chopped a lot, and which is kind of fun because I'm a little bit more with my TV and movies, more hardcore than my husband. Like, he likes chick flicks, and I could take him early. I like him okay, but I'm more like, let's go see Star Wars and let's watch this, scary movie. I've got the man taste typically, if you're going to make generalizations. So when I'm watching.
I love that.
I have a show for you, Holy Moly. This is
Holy Moly.
My kid and I have been watching, so you can get away with 5, 6, 7-year-olds watching this. This probably is more for the teens age. And it's kind of those shows where they put them into obstacles and they get like knocked in water and stuff. It's like that, except for it's surrounding miniature golf. And so the contestants have to hit these miniature golf that are just ridiculous, and they're going to miss. And then they have to go through these obstacles that they can never possibly complete. So they're going to fall in the water every time. But my kid, and they have commentators that are really funny. So there's jokes in there that are going to go over your young kids' heads that are more adult appropriate, but they're not going to like scar your kids. Like my kids are all about it. It's
that sounds like fun. That sounds good. Yeah, because that's like Chopped. If you've ever watched that, that's a cooking competition show. So I mean, again, I don't have any little kids in the house, but I have my husband. So he's a little sensitive.
Oh, what? So you said he likes chick flicks.
Oh, he totally does. He watches the Hallmark Channel. He's hardcore.
That's amazing.
Wow.
I don't know if his testosterone needs to be checked or what, but yeah, seriously, I'm not even kidding.
That's amazing.
I'll walk in there and he'll be like, doing laundry, watching the Hallmark Channel. And I'm like, there's something wrong with this picture. I don't know.
Tears streaming down his face.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not crying. It just goes to me in my eye.
Exactly. They loved each other and it's Christmas.
They found their way back to one another.
They kissed in the snow.
Exactly.
They kissed in the snow. the holy moly recommendation reminded me of another show called The Floor is Lava. Have you guys seen
Oh,
it?
Yeah.
Mike just got the board game. By the way, there's a board game version, and I just gave it to my kid for his 6th birthday.
Oh.
And we had more fun playing the at-home version of the game. It's like Twister meets The Floor is Lava. So
interesting.
Colored discs that you have to jump from disc to disc and not touch the floor.
Oh yeah, we used to play that when you were little. Like you jump from pieces. Of course, Mom loved it. You'd stay on the furniture and not touch the floor. I remember doing that.
No, now you can actually pay cash money and get one that has branding. So I
want to play that.
No, it's really fun. I'll let you borrow it.
Not gonna lie, I tried to find a way to get on that show. I want to jump on furniture and avoid.
But it's not furniture though, right? It's like, pyramids and.
Yeah. Everyone's like a different theme. Like I think one's like a kitchen or.
I've only seen one episode, but I've seen it twice.
Where do you find it?
It's a trip.
It's a Netflix one. Yeah.
It's on
okay.
Netflix.
What are we thinking on old school shows? Like Baker's into Scooby-Doo now, like the old school Scooby-Doo.
Yes.
Scooby-Doo is amazing. I mean, the old school, Laura and I have talked about we think one of the all-time best shows, and thankfully you can actually still get to it, is Sesame Street for little ones.
Oh, yeah.
It's sweet.
I love Sesame Street.
And Looney Tunes.
Looney Tunes, for sure.
I know they still make some new... they're making new episodes now where they talk more. Some of the characters are talking more. I think the old Looney Tunes had a lot more, was a lot more like action based.
Yeah.
But
I used to, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I used to love Woody Woodpecker. And my sister, when Luke was like, I don't know, maybe 6 or so, got him a whole DVD for Christmas of all Woody Woodpecker because she's like, yeah, then you guys can watch it together. And so we're watching it, and Woody Woodpecker dresses in drag, he gambles, he smokes, he drinks.
Wow, that's true. Yeah, there's a lot more smoking on that. It's and drag too, because I think like Bugs Bunny does that too, doesn't he?
Yep, Bugs Bunny dresses in drag at one point too. Yes,
I mean he's a little bit classier, I think, with the cigars. Doesn't he do cigars?
Yeah, I think he does do cigars.
A little classier.
Yeah, right.
Highbrow.
It's your highbrow.
But I'm sure some of the Looney Tunes they show now, it doesn't have it. They'd probably cut all that stuff out.
Yeah, they've cut that out.
I walked in the other day and my son was watching He-Man.
And the Masters of the Universe.
Oh, really?
Thundercats, man.
Oh, I had a crush on Lion-O. Totally.
No, who didn't?
You're so hot.
And I wanted to be Chitara.
Oh my gosh. Shira, Princess of Power. I wanted to be Shira so bad.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to be the kids in Thundercats.
Oh, nice.
Really?
Yeah, like they had all the cool like hoverboards and.
Yeah, I guess that's too. They did have those fun hoverboards. That's good stuff.
I haven't revisited like the Rugrats or Doug or anything, but I think
I never liked those that much. I don't know why.
No?
Well, they weren't geared to your age.
Well, I think call me old again.
Yes, that was not. It was not out in the 70s.
Yeah, but Luke never got into them either, really. But then again, maybe it was because I didn't put them on either because I didn't like them.
Yeah, and the pace, I don't know if kids would want to. The pace is a little bit slower, I would say, than what they're used to now. So I don't know if that would even be interesting to them. I haven't really revisited it either, so I don't know about appropriateness.
Man, you guys, I mean, it's like the possibilities are endless for your podcast. I mean, you just
really and truly.
I don't think we even realized that until we started diving in and we're like, how are we ever going to, there's so many shows, and then trying to keep up with the new ones that are coming out has just been like, there's so much.
We've talked. I know when we were young, there was like 5. It came on Saturday mornings, and that's the only time you got to watch cartoons, Saturday mornings, because you were in school, right? I mean, they had things that came on during the week, but not a lot.
Laura's just about to say we've been talking about even trying to maybe do some mini episodes because we tend to go off and we can go for really long periods of time. And so
can you tell?
Can you tell we like to talk? And so it's like, yeah, we've been talking about like maybe we should do some like little mini episodes on some older shows, or maybe even try to get into some movies or something to review. And
really
so
just an excuse to watch
more
TV.
No,
work, honey.
Hey, it's for work. I've been saying that to my friend, like, why are you watching these shows again, Mom? And I said, oh. And I tried to explain what a podcast was. I said, so this is like a new work thing for me. And he's like, your job just gets weirder and weirder.
Yeah.
Whatever,
Mom. Just wait till your son has a voice like Mom.
No.
It's the most bizarro thing. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever, Mom.
No.
Oh, boy.
I don't want it. Stay baby.
So your podcast, you release once a week as of right now?
As of right now, once a week. It comes out every Tuesday. We have a new show that we will review. We do, as you can see, we're a little chatty. So if you look, we actually put in the descriptors if you would like to skip straight ahead to the review and skip us talking about our children and our lives. You can absolutely do so. Get straight to the review and find out should they watch it or not, which we try to give that answer right in the very beginning and then explain why we feel the way we do.
And is
gracious.
it on? It's on. Well, no, we're not. It's on. Obviously, you can get it on most major platforms, I assume.
Yes.
Yeah.
Still adding here and there, but for the most part, you can find it pretty much anywhere.
Cool. Like I was excited when ours. I don't know if yours is yet, but when I got to use it on my Alexa, and I was like, Alexa, play the I Can't Mom Today podcast, and she's okay, and I was like, big time.
Oh, that's big. I think
I was loudspeaker now.
Yeah,
that's right.
My expectations were so low in the beginning of this. I was like, I don't know if anyone's actually going to listen. I'll put it out there. We'll see what happens. And I think I'm just shocked that people listen. I'm like, whoa, 200 downloads. I can't even fathom that. So
it's exciting and it's fun. Well, that's, with Heather and I too, we've been friends for a long, long time. And since she lives in Colorado and I live in Florida, we don't get to see each other very much. So it's a nice opportunity too, at the very least, to talk to each other every week, and just.
Sure. Yeah. Cause I can get away from you real easily. Have like a common goal. Get together.
Yeah, Laura and I live 10 minutes away, and still this has been nice to like, oh, there you are.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. It forces us to get together and chit chat, and it's really fun.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, it's cathartic having some girl time too.
Yes. Oh yeah, it's like your own self-care for sure.
No question.
Yeah. Okay, so too, where do people find you on social media and email and all that?
So we're on Instagram. You can find us on Instagram. Laura, I have to tell you, is kind of killing the social media game. She's been the one who posts all the fun pictures and memes and different things. Should they watch it on Instagram? We also have a Facebook page, should they watch it. And we'll probably just continue to add as we can. But if anybody wants to reach out to us, we do have an email, podcast@shouldtheywatchit.com. If you want to send us please review this show. We will definitely add it to our list and dive in.
We love the recommendations.
Yes.
We love recommendations.
No, that's very helpful. Just having that little bit of direction, especially when you have so many options.
I'll be looking forward to your apple and onion review.
I know.
And I'll make sure my husband listens to it.
Apple and Onion, right?
It's on Cartoon Network. I did look it up.
Cartoon Network.
Apple and Onion?
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know if this is appropriate. Like, yeah.
They're my favorite. Those are my favorite to dive into where you're like, should they actually be watching this?
My husband's like, yeah, it's fine. We watched. I was like,
we're both putting that in our phone right now so we can look at it later.
We're both right now.
We're both got our phones out.
I'm
emailing myself. Apple.
Yes.
And I'm going to go subscribe so I know when it comes out.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Guys.
Thank you guys too for joining us today. This was very informative, and maybe we can get together again sometime soon.
We would love that anytime. You guys
are
so much fun to hang out with. So thank you so much.
Hey, thanks again, Vera and Laura. Should they watch it? The new podcast. Make sure you check it out. And of course, you know where to find us. I Can't Mom Today. I Can't Mom Today podcast @gmail.com. All those fun places. I think that's all I got.
Yeah. Until next time.
Bye.